escape.
Yeah, that's
Like,
what I was gonna say. I'm feeling bombs. I feel like we're gonna get some anger bombs too throughout the whole run here. Someone might be mad that they're a cat.
Listen, oh, come
Okay,
on.
never mind. Oh, throw it down there.
All right,
I hope it's swords that we have a master
You're welcome,
sword.
guys. Oh my gosh, could you imagine?
It's a low chance, but
sword in the first chest. You're welcome, guys. This was a special Willer J. Bradley brand of seed generation today, so you can only expect the greatest. All right, how do you call it now?
Looking forward to this great NMG run here. It would have been Berna.
So we won't be using that at all throughout this.
No, that's gone. There's gonna be like 3 uses of that cane the entire run. Flaffy already got a bomb though, that's pretty nice.
I'm sure if Patty killed it, just one guard, he would have dropped a bomb as well, since they kind of... Or maybe not. Maybe it would have been... Maybe it's just coincidental. But yeah, of course, as these players go through escape, they're going to be looking for at least one bomb. There is a bomb wall towards the end of it that holds 3 chests, and the last thing you want to do is have to come back here later.
Yeah, never a good feeling having to come back. It's not so terrible if you find the gloves and you can just fall in and bomb it open, but that's still a waste of time when you could get it right here. Especially if the gloves are in there. That's good. You kind of want, like, in my opinion, you want about 6 by the time you get to Kakariko, so that or 5 by the time you get to Kakariko, so you can do everything and have enough for like the mini Moldorm area, so that you don't have to buy. But that's kind of like high expectations. You're never really going for that in escape. You're kind of just going for the one to get out. So everything after that's kind of a bonus.
The thing is, with the sword in hand, farming bombs off of enemies with Cane of Berna is kind of difficult, just because you have to be extremely aware of how much magic you're using up, because you still need enough magic to actually, get through escape.
Yeah.
But getting a sword right off the bat in the first chest is going to allow these players to farm a few more bombs along the way, which will make things a lot easier, and you never know, you might get that beautiful 8-bomb drop from one of these enemies.
Typically, the only thing I farm, personally, would be the green guard right in the room before Flaffy is in right now, because you have to kill him, and he does drop an item, so there's a chance you get a bomb there. And then everything past that, I'm super worried, because it's really hard to go through this with Berna. So it's like, you get very little chances to get a bomb with the Berna. So it's good that they already got it, and a sword to go with it.
Ooh, Pay's got to be careful here. Okay, switching to Berna. One more hit and he would have been dead.
That is one of the 3 uses I mentioned. There's only 2 remaining. Not an actual rule. Jokes.
Yeah, I agree. The farming bombs are just, especially killing like the sewer rat with just Berna is a little... can be kind of annoying. Well, actually, no. It's not too bad. It's more so just having enough magic to get through the entirety of escape with using Berna. Fortunately, there are a few little magic drops along the way underneath pots. When you get to the second part, which is after you push the mantle, there's a couple along the way. I think 2 in the next, 2 in one room and then 2 in later rooms. So if you're desperate, you can go look for that.
Which should give a good enough supply to farm bombs, but it also means you're going to be going out of your way to get the pots themselves. So it's like, is it worth the time loss? Sometimes, usually, maybe.
Maybe.
But then, if you don't get a bomb anyways, you just are out of luck.
Yeah. The first set of magic pots, there's because that first room you go into in the dark is kind of weird looking. There's a long hallway, then there's one hallway going to the left that has a torch at the end of it and a pot with magic in it, and then the hallway to the right that hooks up to go downstairs. There's actually 2 pots. If you just go straight up, you'll find a torch and 2 pots. One will have a magic drop in it, and one will have a heart. So that one's a little bit on the way. And then the other one is just a couple pots. They're not really that far out of the way. So.
Yeah. Flaffy's already up to 3 bombs, which is really nice, because that means you can do the front 2 things that you typically want to bomb in Kakariko. So you're not going to be stuck having to walk all the way over to the bomb vendor ahead of time.
Yeah, and the convenience of that is all that will leave will be the chicken hut, which is right next to the bomb shop anyway. So
Yeah.
But with the ability to clear check as many items as you can, there's a good chance you're going to find more bombs in Bomb of the Well or Blind's Basement.
Yeah, especially with the addition of the 10 bomb drop in version 29, it's really likely that you're going to get a bomb in those 10 chests or so. So we should see at least a bomb in there. We'll see if Patty gets fortunate though on the way there. He seems to be farming rats right now, so he's aware that he desperately wants one.
Mm-hmm.
But we've only seen them on green guards so far, so we don't know if they're in the rat pool at all.
Yeah, he's running out of options, and he's just gonna say, "Nah, I'm good."
Yeah, he's past the point of no return, so there's no benefit in farming them anymore. But
And you might be right, the bombs might not be in the prize pack, because the rats and the green guards have different prize packs, if I recall correctly.
yeah, I don't fully remember how the drops work. I have a lot to learn on that, but from my understanding, they're all shuffled. Like each enemy is shuffled, and then the prize pack itself is also shuffled.
Getting some nice big 20s, which,
Yeah.
along with the 50 rupees you're going to get in Sanctuary, is going to help out. There's the flute and the glove.
No.
Oh, gosh.
That's what I was worried about, because if you get the glove outside of here, you can just come back really easily. But if you never find the glove and it's needed, you have to walk all the way back through the front of Hyrule just to come back there, which is going to be a huge time loss if Patty is required to do that.
Yeah. For Patty's sake, he's going to be hoping that he finds the other glove in the light world, because, yeah, that's some tough items to miss. I think that's probably one of the best backup escapes I think I've seen in the tournament. Usually you get like maybe a sword or a heart piece.
Yeah, that's definitely a really strong 3 chests and something Flappy's gonna be really happy to have.
We do have our first map check. Yeah, Eastern Palace is our Crystal 5. Tower of Hera is another Crystal. And Desert Palace will be our green pendant today. So
I'm sure we'll see all 3 of those completed.
That also leaves 2 pendants in the Dark World. So maybe we'll get that beautiful pendant T-Rock and pendant Meyer to like eliminate the need for so many items.
Yeah.
I love
Meyer would be nice.
I love that. Oh wow, there's the boots.
Patty likes going fast.
Well, that's going to speed things up a little bit in this race. I like the options or the possibilities of getting into G Tower without like the Fire Rod or the Cane of Samaria, just because they weren't actually required to beat the other dungeons.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if I saw that correctly. The tier 2 prize was green rupees, but I think it was a tier 1 prize that Flaffy got that had the red rupees, which is going to be really important if they... Because they could farm that real quick before going into Kakariko to make sure they have a lot of money, set them up for Zora, stuff like that.
Yeah, just having that kind of knowledge offhand is extremely beneficial.
Yeah.
It's like players that go out of their way to check the bush crabs, and bush crabs are like dropping 8 bombs all over the place. And you're like, ooh, thank you. Or like stun prizes, which Flappy will be able to check with the boomerang in hand.
Stun prize is one some players often skip on checking because they don't want to menu to it and then stop to kill something, but it's actually really often it's really good. Could be magic, which is really important in some dungeons where you get stuck without magic. Wow, this is really going well.
Flaffy might actually be able to enter the Dark World from Village of from Kakariko if we find a Moon Pearl in here.
Yeah, and I think that was Bombos as well. Last one was just money, so it's not too important right now. It'll just make sure that Patty can leave here with the bottle vendor and a purchase of bombs if he really wants to.
Flaffy getting a little beat up by those green guards over there. That's one of the frustrating things is like you get hit and you have the boots, you're like, I gotta get out of here. So you start trying to dash and then you get bopped again. You're like, I should probably just start walking in an opposite direction.
Yeah. Fortunately, there's nothing left to fight here, assuming they save and quit after the race game. Additionally, we got a blue mail, so it's less likely to die. And the bottle to round out Kakariko nicely now. It's going to be a full clear except for powder, unless that shows up here.
Yeah, this is the perfect start for Flaffy with that flute in hand. And the other thing is when you get early flute, I know I personally like to immediately check Agnes Cave get those, or like go straight to Ice Rock Cave kind of thing. Get those single locations out of the way quickly. Especially Agnes Cave, because that's usually one of those places that I always put into the very end of the light world.
Yeah, and you could even forget about it entirely, just assuming because of the amount of things that have opened up that you just never go there, and then your opponent finds like hookshot or something, and you're just disappointed.
Flappy picking up her hammer. One item away. We're still looking for that Moon Pearl. We might not actually get it here in Kakariko, but we still have at least 3 more places left to check in here.
Yeah.
And with the boots in hand, be able to get the library item, and then check the maze race. A kid dropping us a heart piece. See ya. It is always nice when you get a bottle in Kakariko and can just, never have to worry about that ever again. You find one, if your first bottle's like down in South Shore, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, come on, now I gotta go back and check that.
Yeah, it's really bad too when you're like one item from a major opening in your seed, and you have like Agna, the sick kid, to go back to, and something else, and you're just like, I don't want to do any of this. But having the bottle early knocks it out. You're already done with it.
Oh, and there's the Cane of Samaria in the library, so boots already coming in quite handy. Now, of course, we still don't know what our Dark World Pendant dungeons are, so that cane might actually never be used. But good to get that one out of the way.
Very likely that it has value right now, though. I believe there's 5 locations locked behind it in Ganon's Tower at the minimum, so it could and should have value.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's also nice for switches and whatnot.
Right now, Patty is still... He needs to find a glove. And I could easily see... Could you imagine getting Hammer and both gloves before getting a Moon Pearl, though? Like, how often does that happen in a run?
Yeah, it's not very often where you're like, well, what do I do? Because I have so many Dark World options. I mean, if that happened, they even have the option of starting their Dark World in the Mire area, because Flute is already available as well.
Oh, yeah, that's true. And, until they find that lamp, though, but... I'd be... Kane, maybe Bombos is the medallion you need for Mire, and they have the boots so they can bonk across the first hole.
Yeah, that would be instant Mire access, dude.
I don't know if I would ever want to do Vitreous with Fighter Sword, no bow.
No.
And, I mean, they do have Blue Mail and 4 hearts. I think that's more than enough.
Yeah, Patty should be able to do it. He's played this game professionally, so...
He's pretty good. I mean, there's a reason he's...
Patty's sake here, if he does find the gloves, he wants Moon Pearl to be somewhere awful, because if Flaffy gets the gloves as well, they've got full reign of Dark World.
Well, as soon as we find... Actually, no. With that flute, Flaffy does have access to Death Mountain. But unless we find a Mirror of the Hookshot, there's nothing much you can do up there, especially without the lamp, so there's only really one item you can get.
Yeah.
Maybe if it's like a Zora Moon Pearl.
I'm hoping for you finding the mirror somewhere soon, and then we get those gloves, so that... Ooh.
There's that hookshot.
It's a really good item. I love that item.
So now this opens up the possibility of Moon Pearl in its vanilla dungeon, because now Flappy has access to Tower of Hera, routing with hookshot and then hammer. And, that's kind of a popular location to put a required item, or at least like a popular route that the game forces you to do.
Yeah, it's good to know that you can go around that way. I know a lot of players learn the hard way that they have to, so it's definitely something to think about here.
And just bombs in Ice Rock Cave, so let's see where Patty's going to go to next. I'm curious, though, because we've had people in the past that have skipped the first chests, or those chests in Escape, and not actually consider going back until they find the glove.
Yeah, I know it was a rule change towards the way the randomizer was done, going back through the front. It used to not be allowed, but that was a long time ago now.
Coming up, going to be 3 more items in the back of Sahasrala's hut, and then, depending on what we find here, Patty might opt to hop into Eastern Palace and take a look, and maybe get the 3 items in there. Well, there's the Moon Pearl, but no glove. So that will be Dark World access for Flaffy, and that's crazy. Once Flaffy goes over there, not only will she have Dark World access from, you know, Hype Cave, Village of Outcasts, but now she could, you know, like, she also has that. She has all of Death Mountain, so like the game just like opened wide up for.
Yeah, there's just so much to do now. There's so many choices that you kind of just you debate if you want to go up the mountain at all. So there's a lot, but
the tough part of that is like now you're already thinking, well, man, if I could find the myths before going up to Death Mountain, then I can do basically everything up in Death Mountain, or at least check all the overworld spots.
Yeah, and depending on what we have pendant-wise, you might not need to go there for Turtle Rock, so it would be cool to get just the gloves that you need, and then full clear and never go to Turtle Rock ever. So it'd be like the one trip up the mountain, then you never go there again.
Oh, she's taking the dive up Death Mountain.
The dark room as well.
Yeah, it's not too bad if you have a sword to light your way. Trying to do this with like without a sword, you know, boomerang kind of works because you can see it. Hammer kind of works. If I had to do this without a sword, given their items, I would hold up a Cane of Samaria block and let that guide me.
I like to use the hook shot because I can tell when it's hitting a wall and when it's not really easily.
But hook shot's so slow. At least with boomerang, boomerang you can like toss it but continue walking at least.
Yeah. The boots trick that people like to do where you just hit the dash button to see where the cloud is, I find that really hard to use. Sometimes you don't know if you've moved at all.
Yeah. Kind of the risk of doing the dark room is because if you reach the old man but can't figure out how to get back, then you're kind of stuck there until you can figure it out.
Yeah, you can't save and quit. You'd have to full reset the game. And if you do save and quit, the full reset will bring you back, so you have to remember to full reset before the save and quit.
Alright, so coming up we're going to have Paradox Cave, Spiral Cave. If, you know, Flaffy ends up finding the mitts over here, I wonder if she'll opt to do the Super Bunny trick to get into Super Bunny Cave, which is where it kind of got the name.
Yep. So it's a good place to do that, but I think with the tools that they have, it's not going to help too much because you already have the hook shot. So once you get the mitts anyways, you're ready to do all of it. And the pearl is surprisingly accessible. Ooh, Patty had a little bit of unfortunate luck with where his placement was as his iframes were away, so he could not activate the switch before killing all the enemies.
I'm surprised he's not utilizing his Cane of Urna. Just
Yeah,
give him
that's
some
true.
iframes.
Because you could just pop that and stand on the switch, you don't have to deal with anything. But this works too, he's not going to die, and since he has no bow, there's not much reason to worry about his health anymore. He's going to be safe and quitting out of the big chest unless it is a bow, maybe? But I haven't been item counting, so he might know that Armos doesn't have an item anyways, if this is an
There's
item.
a Master Sword in Paradox Cave. Only 50 rupees, so Patty is officially stuck until he goes back into his cave. So let's hope he remembers to do that.
He's got one choice if he chooses to go for it. Oh, he's going back. Okay.
What, Agnes
going to Agna. Yeah.
But that's stupid.
It's a pretty bad run. If you,
Okay.
If you got this still.
So he's going to be a little bit behind, but he does have that Moon Pearl. So he could easily go... Okay. He could easily go... I was waiting for that. It's like, where's he going? Activate his flute and then go right into the Dark World to enter Village of Outcasts.
Did Flaffy go down Spiral Cave? I don't think so.
No, you know, usually players will route it this way. They'll go do Hera, then they'll route back to do Spiral Cave.
Yeah, this is just
Otherwise,
a good choice.
gotta climb back up again. And apparently finding the Fire Rod in Paradox Cave, so has the ability to full clear this entire dungeon. That was the one thing I was concerned about going up here, is not having a fire source in case its basement required.
Yeah.
And you know,
I would think from Flappy's perspective, they're hoping for the mitts and the pearl here just to be able to finish the mountain.
Oh, for sure. And it is basement required. Alright, so that fire rod coming in play. You know, routing back all the way through escape isn't really that bad when you have the boots.
No, this went pretty quickly for Patty, and because of the boots, doesn't even have to use a bomb, which is going to be nice because there's a lot of bomb usage coming up in the Dark World if he chooses to go to the Dark World right away, since he has the access before Flaffy.
I'm sure at this moment, though, he's going to be feeling a little bit behind. Though, to be honest, in this current situation, he's not too far off.
Yeah, he's going to go activate the flute, it seems. He might do Bonk Rocks on the way. I don't know if he's checked those yet.
He did. After he got the boots, he actually went back, checked them, then continued down to Kakariko.
That's something I don't think about often, but it's a really smart thing to do, is just hit it while you're there, so you have to come back, especially when you find the flute like this. If you activate the flute and you have already checked Bonk Rocks, you don't have to ever save and quit to Sanctuary to do that again, so it's a little faster.
Flaffy playing a little bit risky here, but setting up a... Or not, okay.
Set up the Death Warp, but we're not... Oh, there we
Oh,
go.
okay, alright. She was going for the more hard-hitting enemy, the mini Moldorn, who does generally a full heart of damage versus the Stalfos that only do half a heart.
Yeah, on Blue Mail, I don't know if the Stalfos actually does the full half heart. He
Yeah,
might do a quarter.
Oh, and Patty right up to Death Mountain, which is going to be good for him. It's going to allow him to get his Master Sword, Fire Rod. And so now it's just going to come down to what else we find in Hera, and Flaffy is going to have to go to Sahasrara next. She might opt to skip out on checking Eastern early once she gets that Moon Pearl.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything in Eastern, so it's probably going to be much better for her that way.
It's a tough call to make, but we have seen a lot of items already in the Light World, so I feel like it would be a safe play. And there's the Red Mail already.
It's going to be a very healthy Dark World. It seems like Patty's making a really good safe play going up the mountain here, because you'll get the Red Mail as well. So it's going to be a healthy, very unlikely to die Dark World for both of these players.
Mm-hmm. And Flaffy also making sure to count her items, realizing that there was a red rupee in the first chest, or the first spot, and then the red mail there means she doesn't have to get the big chest at all.
It's always nice to not have to worry about if you screw up the bomb jump at all. Even with the boots, you waste a lot of time coming back.
Yeah. Fortunately, if there was anything in there, they have the hook shot, boots option, hook shot across, bonk across.
Yeah.
Flappy taking a fall. Just needed one more spin. Round 2? Ooh, switching to hammer. Nice hammer Master Sword combos. Pretty good.
Yep.
That hammer hitbox is a little bit eh.
Just not really getting a break here. Usually you kind of wait for Moldorm to turn away from you so that you can move in, but he's just running her down over and over again. There's not really any time to hit him.
Oh my gosh.
Brutal. So oftentimes you let it come at you, and then it'll turn around as you're running away and you hit him. But there's been no turning around from this Moldorm.
Third try. Oh, that's where the fire rod was.
Yeah.
Okay. I was wondering. There we go.
Well, that was a good sidestep too. It's another case of Moldorm didn't want to turn away, but this time Flaffy was ready for that. Yeah, look at all those bomb drops Patty needed. Now.
There you go. Alright, so coming up for Flaffy's going to be the Spiral Cave check, which is going to be a lot better when you have boots. Patty going to go ahead and go around.
When he gets to the point that Flaffy's in right now, he's going to have to choose between this and Spike Cave. Because he has the Moon Pearl and Flaffy does not.
That is true. Yeah, it's always that's a tough option to make. Yeah. But you gotta be thinking at the same time, like, he does technically have Spike Cave access, but... And you could, I think you can just, I mean, he could use the Cane of Berna and just dash through it to get through. But, you know, he might not be considering it just based on his health count.
Yeah, it also would mean he'd be going into the Dark World with a low magic count, because you would have to use almost the entire bar, if not the full bar.
Man, talk about value up in Deathmount. We got Fire Rod, we got 2 sword upgrades, and a red mail. Pretty good.
Yeah, and Flaffy on our way to get to the Moon Pearl now, so that'll be Dark World. With when you have the Tempered Sword, Dark World is going to be pretty smooth. Red mail, red sword.
Yeah, tempered and red, and even a spare bottle.
The only concerning part is the low hearts. Some enemies don't care about red mail at all, so that might come get a player at some point in this race, but we'll see when the hearts come in.
Alright, what's the play going to be? I am usually the type to go straight to Hype Cave, and then either route up Pyramid Catfish. A lot of players like to do straight to Village of Outcasts, and with Fire Rod in hand, you got to be thinking, you know, could go to Skull Woods right now, especially with Tempered Sword too. But hopefully we will get our map check immediately and find out what we got going on. We have Pendant Swamp, or excuse me, did it again. Pendant Skull and Pendant Mire with a Pyramid Fairy Crystal at Ice Palace. So,
fortunately, that doesn't change too much of the requirements.
It does.
Everything that those pendants might have is covered by T-Rock, or we already have in the fleet.
So the only thing we might not need in this run is going to be a medallion or 2. They could be both the same medallion, but yeah, not exactly the pendant dungeons you want to see, especially when you get that early Fire Rod and you're thinking, oh, I can knock out Skull Woods right now.
Patty opting not to Death Warp here.
Yeah, he killed all the good enemies.
Yeah, there was 1 Moldorm and 1 Stalfos left on the way out, and he just cut them down. So,
not the most hype of hype caves, but plenty of rupees to get you the rupees you need for Zora, in case we ever see that. And it looks like Flaffy is going to be taking the east side route. And there's that Death Warp you wanted for Patty.
Yeah, he's I'm not sure he knew that the Fire Rod could hit the switch from that distance. So he opted to kill himself so that he could get back to the start.
Not a bad idea. It's hard trying to remember how to play like certain situations when you don't have the mirror.
Yeah, the mirror is so nice for this stuff. You don't have to worry about any of it. You can just, okay, I've got the item, I'm out.
It's especially difficult when you're like in Ganon's tower without the mirror. You find a big key on the right side, you're like, now what? Now where do I go? Oh, nice friendly heart container on the pyramid. We put Flaffy at 7 hearts.
Yep, that's nice to find pretty quickly. We were talking about Hype Cave first in the Dark World, which is, I believe, what Flaffy went with. I strongly agree with that play. I would think the only time you don't do that is when you already have the mitts. You can think about starting in the Village Outcast and sweeping down there, but even then it's still kind of risky. With the items they have, it would have been fine, because they have the hammer, the fire rod, and swords, so they can do Skull Woods and Thieves down pretty easily. Patty getting his first crystal here.
I think it's a good idea to go ahead and get these far out of the way locations done first.
Yeah. Catfish
is like one of the worst locations just because there's no convenient way to route it. And it gives you the mirror. If you had the mirror going up here, it'd be even better. Because then you could combo mirror into Zora.
Yeah.
It's you either have to like skip all these out of the way locations, you know, Agnes Cave, Ice Rod Caves, Catfish, and like never check them or do them early. It's the same concept of, I personally like to, if I'm gonna dive a pendant dungeon, I'm gonna do it early. Like, I'm gonna do it early in the run, because at the end of the game, when I've done every crystal dungeon I can, and it comes down to like I have 2 pendant dungeons left to do. Which one do I do? I find that far more like frustrating than if I just knock out a pendant dungeon early.
Yeah, it's not the greatest feeling when you do a pendant dungeon for absolutely no reason early, but it's like it's a little different than at the end when you do the pendant for no reason and you realize, or you might realize, you've lost because of it. It's not a fun feeling.
And fortunately for both these runners, the seed actually gave them really, I'd say, generous pendant dungeons, because all of them are short dungeons for the most part, Meyer being the longest, but all of them only holding 2 items each, so...
Yeah. Patty's opting to start a village broadcast, which, as I mentioned, I like to do with mitts. I don't like to do it with just the gloves and hammer combo, because you have to go all the way around like this, and it costs like 20 seconds or so. It's kind of slow. And then you have to go back around to get out, unless you choose to go to Skullwoods, which I think he'll do. Oh, he won't.
See, Patty, I don't know. This is his first time into the Dark World, so I don't know if he's done the... There's the map check. Okay, now he knows. I don't know, I think this early in the run, like, of course you focus on the crystal dungeons you can do, but I still think if it's within the routing, you go ahead and route in, checking the pendant dungeons as well.
Yeah, looks like we're going straight to the bumper cave here.
You see a neat little trick over on flaafykins' side. This is the fake flipper trick. Essentially, when you hop into the water, right next to a screen transition, you trick the game into thinking that you do have the flippers when in fact you don't. And comboing this with another trick where if you have the moon pearl when you go in this cave, as you leave, for whatever... Can you explain it better? I don't know the exact reason why or how the game checks.
Honestly don't know why it cares about the moon pearl. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever.
For some reason, the game checks to see if you have the moon pearl when you leave that cave, and subsequently just makes you walk on water as well. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird how that works.
It's by far the most confusing thing I've ever seen.
But the cool thing about that is you could take that water walk. Flaffy opted to just go ahead and cancel it so that you don't have to worry about like getting hit or anything, but you can essentially just run up through Zora's Domain, walking across all the water to get here quicker. You could even go through the whirlpool south and then walk, dash or walk all the way up to Hobo if you wanted to as well. It's a pretty neat trick.
Yep, it's very useful. While that was happening, Patty has found that the boomerang is on Bumper Cave and pretty much has just been running through the annoying sections that is in Skullwoods. So not much has gone on in that duration.
Yeah, I've never seen the route of going into the forced small key room first.
Typically that's a accident. I've done that a few times recently myself. I've had trouble with the... Because typically when you go around that side, you can go past the bush on the right, or you can pick up the bush slash the bush and just go right by it. But for some reason grabbing it doesn't work so well and you might just fall in. That might have been what happened there.
Yeah, and unfortunately not finding an extra small key, so having to go back through that room a second time just to get out of Skullwoods. And moving on to the next part. I believe we've seen one item so far, I think. I think it was a bomb capacity upgrade. So, still looking for the next thing. Small key, so we get to dive a little bit further, and Flappy not far behind. So here's the thing, despite how the seed has been playing out, these two runners are pretty much, I'd say they're still neck and neck. They both have different extra things that they check that the other player hasn't.
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty close right now. We just gotta wait till one of the players finds their go mode items, which we have many to find still. We're looking at, I believe, 5 or 6 items, I guess, if we're counting the lamp for go mode. So it's a long ways away. Patty's opting to check the side room here. before going to Moth.
Sweet bunny sprite. Oh, there's the lamp!
An excellent choice. No mirror, unfortunately. You might choose to die here. You might get forced to die.
That didn't look like a choice to me.
No.
Well, the nice thing is, I believe that is 2 items, so he does not have to continue fighting that Moth.
Yeah, oftentimes players like to go to the Moth because you get the pendant while you check for the item, but it actually works out a lot better for Patty. He doesn't have to kill the Moth at all, and he's already done with Skullwoods.
Yeah, the only way it could possibly hurt him is if like Mir is on the pedestal, because then he'd have to get the pendant, save and quit, then go back and do that stuff. Yeah.
It's really interesting from Flaffy. I have never seen the hook shot across that gap there to go to the back here. It's just kind of cool. I always go through the little drop down if I'm not doing the bomb jump.
Is Patty getting that weird glitch where sometimes the bomb just always shoots you down instead of up?
I did not see his first attempt to bomb jump at all, so I wasn't aware.
Yeah, it is.
Well, that's just annoying.
I think he has both the items, and we just saw the small key, so this is going to be for nothing. I think it has something. I feel like Vitor or somebody explained to me. It has something to do with that red berry being there.
Oh, okay.
For whatever reason. Of course, he's always there. So.
Yeah, there's 2 tricks you can learn with bomb jumping that would make this a lot easier, which is when you do the bomb drop here, if you do it on the left side, you can block on the right barrier to give yourself a wider range of bomb jumping.
Mm-hmm.
He's just gonna kill himself to revive here.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. He got across, but then the mini molder bopped him, and then he fell back into the hole.
Yeah, and
it's unfortunate that, you know.
I guess he did have enough health with the bomb because he has red mail, so it wouldn't immediately kill him.
It's unfortunate spending all this time just to get a small key.
Yeah.
But I've done that before. With Skull Woods and how it's laid out, since it's in sections, it's really easy to forget how many items you got in like the first part compared to the other part.
And it's also like, if you're not counting items, it's hard to pay attention, but the key logic especially is just really weird here. Like, there's sometimes you can tell where a small key will be, but it's not a dungeon you think about that often because you only need 2 items. I think the small key in the middle section was a guaranteed small key, but it wasn't really relevant to them.
Well, I do foresee a Thieves Town play in the near future. How about now?
Is that future now?
That is now. It is a crystal. There are 4 items in here, and he has every means to check all the chests, including that hammer.
There's no reason to delay it. You could try to delay it for a mirror, but I don't know why you would. It's a crystal, so you would be full clearing. I guess if you're afraid that you might die, you could try to come back here with items later, but it's not really worth it with the tools that they have. Flaffy also learning that there is absolutely no need for the cape in this run.
Alright, so at this pace, it looks like both players are going to be pretty... Oh, wow, there's the mirror. Okay. It was sitting right there. In C-shaped house. So Patty's going to be grabbing that as soon as he finishes Thieves Town. And fortunately for him, Thieves Town mirror doesn't affect Thieves Town routing at all. Yeah. So it's not that big of a miss to get that later.
It's useful if you're skipping out on the lighter half if it's a pendant, but he wouldn't do that unless he was scared of blind.
Now, mirror also makes for some interesting routing, because now do you go back and check King's Tomb and Graveyard Ledge after this? Or do you just go south into, Circle of Bushes, Stump Kid? We've already been to Hype Cave, so I would elect to go north. But at the same time, then you have to consider skipping out on digging game again.
I think north makes the most sense here because you are without mitts right now. So if you get the mitts later, you can combo the entire south stuff together, which is a little faster. But at the same time, that south section could easily have the mitts in the digging game and Stumpy.
Yeah, it's the unfortunate routing choice of going up towards, you know, up from Hype Cave to Pyramid, which is why I think Patty, after he gets the mirror, will likely route south because he still has to go do Hype Cave and all that.
Yeah, that's
I could see Flappy going north.
I could also see Patty going north if you wanted to just quickly knock that out and then head south right after. That would still be an acceptable choice.
Who knows? Maybe he'll find flippers in here and he could just go north, check those two, and then go straight to Catfish, mirror, and do Zora and all the Zora stuff.
Straight to Swamp if you found the flippers coming up. Which, when you're looking for mitts, you're kind of like, I don't know, personally when I'm looking for mitts and I've finished Skullwoods and Thieves Town, my thought is, alright, it's in pod, 100%. Don't need to worry about it.
Every time.
I've just had really pod luck for mitts lately, so I always assume it's there. But if he found the flippers, Swamp would be a really big thing in his mind.
If it's not in pod, then yeah, flippers would put it in Swamp.
Has either runner gone to Agony yet? It could even be there.
Flaffy did. Flaffy
Oh yes,
there
I remember now, yeah.
Before heading... Oh, and we get the beautiful glitched blind fight. For those that don't know, it's a really cool, simple trick you can do. Is basically you hit the select button as soon as the maiden lands in the spot where they spawn to become blind. And you get wacky colors if you time it right. The only downside to this is that the door opens to this boss room and you could accidentally leave the boss and restart the fight. And
because of the type of door it is, doors have different, like, just mechanics to them in terms of the way they are coded. I don't know why, but the ones that are like shutter doors, like this one is, if you go at all near the door and accidentally tap down, it will like vacuum you through it, and you don't get a choice. So that's a quick end to the boss fight. You had to redo it with not the easiest fight.
It's like bomb walls in Z1. They just suck you right in.
Yeah, and as I was mentioning, scripted fights. Patty with an excellent kill up blind there. No worries with using Burna at all. Just
even got the finish right in the dead center. So
yeah.
Patty got the mirror. Patty's got the mirror before he even got it. Wow, our tracker's on top of things. Yo, shoutouts to Notch. Notch 212 our tracker for today. Appreciate the help, bud. And he is going to the north route, so you know, if he finds the flippers like up in Graveyard Ledge, which is a place that it can be, a place that I have also seen it and has caused me much anguish.
Yeah, this is the place that you often don't want to go to at any point in time because it's kind of out of the way. Especially if you find the mitts while you have boots and you do King's Tomb. It's just this one location out in the middle of nowhere, and it's like, I don't want to go there. It helps.
It helps that he has to check 2 items here. It gives it a little bit more value. And there are the mitts! There they are!
Well, you could not the other way.
Wow, mirror required. And that's going to make his south route from Village of Outcasts once he goes back even more efficient. Even being able to do... Plus mirror would be allowing him to take the purple chest all the way down.
It also actually unlocks the ability to check Meyer and T-Rock as well to find out what our medallions are. So that was just a great choice, because on top of, not only does it like knock out this really obnoxious location that you're never really going to come back to, because with Skullwoods done and Thieves Town done, you're not going back to Village of Outcasts until you get the mitts. So going up here now is probably a really good check because the mitts could be here, and because it means you never have to come back to the north side of Dark World at all. So going here first actually kind of like strengthened the likelihood of his route going really well. So it was a good play here, and it definitely paid off.
Alright, so what's going to be the next play from Patty? He does now have, you know, access to certain dungeons, access to other locations, so he doesn't necessarily have to go over here and, you know, do the normal south route. And it looks like he might actually be bailing to go do something else.
Yeah, he might be thinking Meyer, just to get that out of the way now.
looks like it.
Or maybe he wants to go in and kill Desert as well for the...
This is also his first time over here, too, so...
Yeah.
You know,
the interesting thing is getting that green pendant also could strengthen his route towards the eastern section of the map as well. And Flaffy killing blind, it wasn't as flawless as Patty's, but with the blue cane it does not matter. You can just kill that super easy.
Yeah, nice fight. Nice fight all around from both players. But looks like Flaffy taking the south route, so she is going to be missing out on those mitts for the time being. So hopefully she gets them before she like dives into pod or something like that. The thing about mitts though is it does gate off a lot of the game, so if you end up, you know, missing it all in there, the flippers in checkerboard. So
everything is falling into Patty's lap right now.
Yeah. Man, now what do you do?
That's a really good question.
He's going right for ice.
Oh! And not choosing to go south has cost Patty the bow as Flaffy digs it up here.
Ooh, alright. So both players finding required and useful items. Eastern
this really
and...
saves Flaffy as well, yeah.
Yeah, Eastern and pod being required as well, so... fortunately, you know, she's not going to get the mitts for a time being because she'll probably go now and do both the pod Eastern combo.
Yeah.
So for her, she needs to find Ice Rod or, you know, another required item deep inside Palace of Darkness. It's not often you get to, like, go mode pod, but big time save if you can.
Yeah, and likely going to go to pod into Eastern or something like that, trying to find the mitts to begin with, so... Getting the bow here makes that just comfortable. You don't feel like you've wasted any time, and I don't think it actually will cost Flaffy any time doing that now instead of later. Unless the ice rod is somewhere early that makes them not have to go there at all.
Yeah, this is looking like the pod Eastern play. And the thing is, after she completes this, unless, well, yeah, I don't think there's anything she could find over here that would send her to any other dungeon, because I don't think... Mitts kind of blocks off a lot of dungeons at this point.
Yeah.
Maybe if she finds, like, the book or something, but...
Let's see, I think you're right on the book being really the only thing that they can find to open up more annoying things to do. Because the book opens up Ether, which is a long trek that they don't want to do. Opens up Bombos. Not a long trek, but it's still kind of out of the way. And then Desert, which is a pendant dungeon. Probably not required. So right now we know where everything is except for the book, or not the book, sorry, the ice rod, silver arrows if they want them, and whatever T-Rock medallion is. And I believe that's all we need for go mode.
Yeah. So relatively generous seed. Just depends on who picks the right dungeon in which order. Of course, you know, Patty still needs to go back to Digging Game to get the bow, and Flaffy needs to go to King's Tomb. And there's only one way to get to King's Tomb in this seed.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this turns out.
Yeah, it might be a curse for Patty here, because not going to Digging Game for the bow might mean he'll go into Mire and such ahead of time, which, not a big deal. I mean, you don't need the bow for any of that. However, it means he might clear all of these fully if he finds everything else. So we have to see how long it takes him to go back for that.
Yeah.
That bow at Digging Game.
It's a tough call, because, like, you do have all the Dark World stuff up on Death Mountain, but if you can find the Ice Rod first, and then go up to Death Mountain, and you might just, you know, get lucky that the one medallion you do have is the one that you need for T-Rock.
Yeah.
And then boom, just like that, you just go mode it.
Oftentimes when you're full clearing the seed and you get around to that point, you can just assume, okay, T-Rock has to be Bombos because we're out of locations, pretty much. It's like a really rare chance that some other medallion is needed somewhere else, but at the point that they're in right now, there's just so much available, it could be anything, so it's either worth going up there to get the information and clear out the hookshot cave and whatnot, or you just go there at the end and just hope. Nah, I know for a fact that Patty can do spins and not silver on Ganon, but I don't know if Flaffy can. I've never actually seen them fight Ganon.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure both these players are competent in silverless Ganon.
Flaffy's times are good enough to me that suggests that they could do it, so I wouldn't be too surprised that silvers aren't needed for either player.
Patty finding the cape in Ice Palace big chest. We already know that's not required for anything progression-wise, but is a nice one to have.
Yeah, if we find that half magic, it'll make Ganon just so much more easier.
And for those that were watching, we saw Patty did elect to not do the Ice Palace bomb jump, so he... Which, honestly, if you're go-moding, or if you're full clearing an entire Ice Palace, I don't think it really makes that big of a difference anyway. Since you're going to have to get the big key and small keys regardless.
Yeah, that's very true. I'm not actually sure what he has done so far in this dungeon. I got lost in his route.
He's done everything. He just has to fight Cold Stare.
Alright, so he's kind of low on HP right now. He might opt to go in for the fairy holes here.
Oh no!
He might get sniped by a anti-fairy. The worst part about this is he's already low on magic, so coming back will likely cost him some more time, and he'll have to try to find a way to make up all that magic he's lost.
Yeah, that's not... Oh, gosh. He even had the burner out, and it looked like he got hit while he was in the animation, like the starting animation of the item. Flaffy finding the shovel in the back of Pod. So far, that's all we've seen. Don't know its value yet. More to be revealed. Yeah, and that's the other thing in this dungeon. There aren't really that many... Well, you might be able to use... Well, I mean, at the point that he was at, I don't think there are any enemies that he could stun to, like, check what the stun prize pack was. Because, like, Boomerang doesn't work on jellies and hookshots kill him.
There was... No, that's it, yeah. Because you can't stun the big Stalfos either, you just have to knock him down and bomb him. I think his bomb, unfortunately, was about 2 pixels too low there, so it couldn't hit the big guy.
I'm surprised, though. It still let him kill the other guy.
I actually learned how that works recently. If one of them gets up, they both can't be hit. If one of them goes down, they both can be killed. And it does not matter which one is up, which one is down. It's just the most recent thing that has happened.
Huh. Because I'd always wondered why you can kill that one guy despite not being knocked down. So it's just like just like a setting for the entire room, basically, instead of individual enemies.
It's really odd. I learned that about 4 days ago or so, watching a new player learn the game, and they spent the time looking into all that stuff, and they learned that before I did. I've been playing for over a year, so I was shocked.
Yeah, that game knowledge though.
Ice physics are really annoying in this room.
Yeah, hopefully Patty can get through this Cold Stare fight. He doesn't have... This is kind of the scary thing, is he doesn't have any safeties.
Currently looking at, he doesn't have enough magic either. Oh, I guess he has bombos. He's okay. Never mind.
Yeah, and there's also there's like 3 small magic containers over in the right locked key door.
That is true as well. He has enough keys to handle that if he chooses to. Which is just always the case. If you full cleared the dungeon, you have enough keys for that every time.
Flaffy now heading into the King Helmassar fight. With hammer out. Gonna be 17 hits to the face. No silvers, so probably gonna be sword slashes. Yeah,
it's just 4 slashes or 2 spins or a combination that adds up to the count of 4. If they opt to go with the bow,
gosh.
it's 8, which is a little slower. Ooh, that's not a good start for Patty, unfortunately.
Got hit by the icicle right before he got the spit off. Now the nice thing is like the icicles don't do as much damage, and Cold Stare only does 2 hearts with red mail, as opposed to the ridiculous 4 with only green mail. So he should be fine.
Yeah, he's got I think 1 hit here. Yeah,
nice.
There he goes. For anyone who had the same issue that Patty did there, the reasoning is if you bombos immediately and just go straight into the fight, the timing on the icicles will be almost certain to land on you when you go for the spin. So it's nice to like wait a second or count to 2 or so, and then you use the bombos just to make sure you're safe. Fortunately, both of those dungeons were pretty much empty. Flaff got a shovel.
Yeah.
Hooray, maybe?
Just a shovel, yeah. Yeah, both players with really good fights. Really good, other than that unfortunate death in Ice Palace. But, yeah, nothing really to be seen in either dungeon unless that shovel ends up leading to something.
Get a swamp check, I think, coming up here from Patty as well. He might opt to take this going west towards the digging game, but I think if you were to do that, you would have started at Village Outcasts.
Well, he does have the mid, so he could take it all the way up to do, this might be a pyramid check. Actually, no. Has he even been to Hype Cave?
He is going west.
Yeah, he never went to Hype Cave, because his first Dark World access, he took Village of Outcasts, but then, you know, he never went south,
true.
So...
I don't know if you'll even remember that, but fortunately for him, Hype Cave is complete garbage. This route actually makes a lot of sense, because what he's doing here is he's clearing out all the normal stuff that you want to be able to dash for. So he's going to get to the end and just flute away with the purple chest, if he bothers to do the purple chest. Which is actually going to speed it up a little bit. I would have gone the other way, which is actually just slower, because I just don't think about the flute. Flash making good use of the sword beams.
I was like when you could kill the scout post before he even spawns. Like the one with the you hit him with the pot, and then the one that's on the left you can kill with sword beams or like a silver arrow or even a regular arrow.
Yeah, it's just really nice to get out of that room in like 2 seconds. It feels amazing. It's like this trap room that's supposed to make you fight 4 enemies, and you're down and out, having not even seen one, but have killed 2.
Wow, how did Patty already get the bow on his tracker despite not picking it up yet? Whoa! How does he know? What a wizard. What a legend.
I have to ban this Patty guy.
I know, right?
That's a lot of digs. Holy.
That's quite a bit, yeah.
It's like about 23 or so. I didn't count it though.
The hardest thing right here, though, is to go, alright, I have a cool item. I should just skip all the other stuff I was planning on doing and go straight for the boss, or for the next dungeon.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what he's doing.
Yep.
But, like I didn't even get like the first word out before he started going in this direction, so.
Yeah, he's got Smith and Purple Chest and the hammer pegs left behind, but 3 locations, 2 items left, might not matter to him.
Okay, now I don't know what he's doing. He's going to swamp.
I think he transitioned 1 to the right by habit, something I do as well when I go that way.
Well, he still hasn't gone to Hype Cave, so I was kind of anticipating him doing that, but it's an interesting play just because Swamp is a lengthy dungeon. Of course, he's still looking for 1, maybe 2 more items, and you kind of want to focus on dungeons with a heavier amount of items in it, but because you have a higher chance of finding it there, but at the same time, it's Swamp Palace.
Yeah, I don't mind this because unless the medallion for T-Rock and the Ice Rod are in the Eastern pod combo, you're still going to have to probably clear this. But at the same time, you don't know what that T-Rock medallion is. You haven't checked it yet. Maybe it's Bombos, and all you need is that Ice Rod. So it's a tough call to make. And I guess he's already done most, if not all, of Eastern, so...
Yeah, the thing is, like, his options right now are 2 pendant dungeons. Eastern is already complete, so it's just a difference between pod and swamp. And there's the book.
Oh, that's good. He can get Bombos done right away when he comes out of here. The other one is not so good.
I guess if you were gonna find the book, find it in Swamp is a little bit better.
Finding it in Swamp or finding it in Hera are like the two big things you want to see that book in, because it's like, okay, tablet, see ya, and you're done with it. But
or find it in Skullwoods, and when you already have the mirror.
That's true, because then you can check the pedestal and be 100% certain about those pendant dungeons. It's like in the scenario here, you kind of wish Mire or Desert was a crystal, because they're really easy to clear right now, and they're not really ones you mind doing out of Go mode, because they kind of take a while anyways.
It's
so
kind of
those would have been nice.
It's a hard... It's like, what do you prefer? Do you prefer long pendant dungeons that you can just completely skip? Or a bunch of short pendant dungeons that you can knock out really quickly? It's a tough call.
It's a good clear from Flaffy here on Pod and Eastern.
And at this point, she's got... What does she got? She's got Zora that she can do. That would be within logic.
I believe.
She already did it.
Yeah.
So she just has... Yeah, Graveyard Ledge and...
the shovel.
Shovel.
Good old shovel. What do you got for us?
And I don't think there's anything here that could possibly send her anywhere else. So she's kind of... She's got... Well, actually a Spike Cave.
Or nothing.
Ooh.
Or some sweet, sweet half magic. That's pretty nice. It's always an item I love to have. It just makes pretty much the entire game smooth. Because when you go to T-Rock without half magic, you're kind of like slightly worried you're going to mess up your shots on Trinex.
Yeah, except when you have... Maybe if you have only Master Sword. With Tempest Sword, you should be fine. But it does make the Cold Stare fight extremely...
Yeah,
much,
Cold
much
Stare
easier.
can be really difficult if you have a little bit of trouble. It's a fight that snowballs really quickly, not to make a pun or anything, but it just goes really bad the second you start making mistakes. Patty recovered really well with the Fire Rod, cleaning up them quickly, because if all three are alive roaming around, you're in trouble. But Patty was able to quickly rod them all down and get, I think, one dead and one half health, so he was able to kill it pretty quick. So it was a good recovery. With half magic Flaffy should be able to just burn them all and not worry about it.
And this is the route over to Graveyard Ledge and King's Tomb, so she will be getting her Titan mids, so it all depends on where she goes to next. Now, unless we find something in Swamp Palace, maybe getting those flippers first wasn't the greatest for Patty. He did elect to go ahead and just go straight for the back end and skipping the left side of Swamp. I don't know how many dungeon items we've seen so far, so I don't know if there's one or two items over there. We're still looking for the big key, I think. And Argus goes down. Fire Rod shots.
Bit of trouble getting the hook dash strat to work. It's just really, really, really hard to do, so it's not a surprise that it didn't go so well. I've only successfully done it once myself.
Getting another piece of heart. Lots of heart pieces. You know, here's the thing. We're this far, an hour in some change into the run, and, you know, Patty's still sitting at very few hearts.
Yeah, I think all that health he's missing is just hiding away in Hype Cave right now.
I thought Hype Cave was just... Well, I think there was a couple heart containers, but I think it was mostly just rupees, if I recall correctly. But he's going to skip out on left side Swamp. He said, I'm good. I'm outie.
I think Flaffy had 9 HP coming out of the Hype Cave area, so that's where I believe most of his hearts are hiding away.
I hope Patty actually flies right back to 7 and goes and checks Bombos. I'm surprised he didn't.
Yeah, probably forgot about the book entirely. It's not really something you think about if you already have access to Desert.
I mean, you gotta be thinking about it when you didn't find a dang thing in Swamp Palace but that book.
He's about to go to Pod and get the exact same feeling out of it. He'll get another item that's basically a fetch quest, which is the shovel, which has nothing in it.
I don't know, guys. This is looking like a Ice Rod T-Rock play. I'm surprised. Well, Flappy just got her bits. I hope that she flies. I want to see her go up to Death Mountain, just because I personally want to see what's up there.
Yeah, we have 6 items and the check on what is T-Rock's medallion. We still have Spike Cave as well, and for Patty, the Ether Tablet. So there's a lot up the mountain right now.
Yeah, it looks like Flaffy's going to be also going into Ice Palace pretty soon.
Yeah.
No flippers. Without flippers. Unless this is... Well, no. We still haven't seen Hobo yet, I don't think. From either player.
I cannot remember if Flaffy Fate Flipper there or just went straight to Zora.
I think she went straight to Zora.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But half magic in hand, it's going to make Ice Palace a little bit quicker. Or at least Cold Stare a little bit quicker. On Patty's side, we didn't see the bomb jump, so we'll see if Flaffy does that this time around. But I've been seeing a lot of players not go for it. And I think if you're going to full... Yeah, like I said earlier, I think if you're going to full clear Ice Palace, I don't know if it really gives you that much of an advantage.
Yeah, and especially if you're not fully comfortable with it, you could just be wasting time, bombs, and HP on this dungeon that really hurts.
The only time it would... I think, like, if you have Canis and Maria and, you know, maybe Hookshot, I think the only time that it would be best to go ahead and set it up is if you get a small key in the first chest. Because then there's that chance that you're going to find all 3 items before you even, like, you know, you get your last item in the double freezer room or the big chest.
Yeah. You don't need to go to the tea room at all if that happens.
But yeah, this is just players following in each other's footsteps. So, Futon, what do you want to talk about? You want to talk about something?
Let's talk about what is available. We have, as we mentioned, a lot of that mountain going on. We also have the Bombos tablet, Mire, and Desert. Neither have checked that yet. So there's kind of a lot of like areas you could combo nicely together.
We still have Blacksmith, Peg Cave, Purple Chest as well.
Flaffy got her mitts and immediately came here.
We have Hobo Spike Cave, Ether Tablet. So there's quite a bit of overworld left for both these players. And of course, Patty hadn't done Catfish yet. He hasn't done any of the Zora stuff either. So, which is just, you know, might just be a playstyle. We've been seeing some kind of radical plays from him throughout, like skipping Left Side Swamp, skipping Hype Cave. Sometimes players will be like, man, they'd be all like, oh man, if there was a required item in this spot, then I already lost. So let's just pretend that it doesn't exist and just hope there's nothing there.
Yeah. Something I've seen from Patty a lot is he likes to go off of his gut. Like, he'll just make a play because he's just feeling it. And he's in the mood to try that dungeon or something like that. So I think that's a good way to play if you're comfortable with that.
And I mean, that's kind of the fun thing about Rando I think as a viewer. Maybe not so much as a player, unless it except when it works. When it doesn't work, it feels bad. But when it does work, it's good. Just kind of switching up your playstyle every now and then, you know. It depends on your opponent, because sometimes full clearing the seed just to be safe is not enough. Especially if you're against an opponent that might be a little bit more execution heavy, like a little bit better at just playing the base game or being able to move better, since they'll have a likelihood of being able to full clear a little bit better. You know, there's a lot of players that do like to go for the crazy gambles of just randomly skipping chests. And we've seen people skip Para Basement all the time, and every time there's nothing there for them. But when I do it, no, I'm kidding. I don't know, Futon. When you play the Link to the Past randomizer, how do you like to... What is your play style? Do you like skipping things, or do you like focusing on chest efficiency? Are you a chest aficionado?
I'm big on efficiency, but there's, depending on what I'm doing, like if it's like a 1v1 race, I'm not comfortable. I'll make like weird plays at times just to try to get some sort of advantage. Like, say I'll jump into Swamp when it doesn't seem like a good idea, just because it might be the thing I need to give me a chance to win. But in most of my races, I just try to play my own game and forget about my opponent, which is an easy way to make sure you get a time that you're happy with, I think.
It's a good way to play. I think it's really easy as a player in especially in a 1v1 setting to just spend the entire time thinking, what did my opponent do? What do I think my opponent did? And it's so hard not to just assume that your opponent is just a god tier player and made all the perfect options or all the perfect plays. And then you're like, you're going through Ganon, you're like, all right, when's the dot done happening? And then you finish, you're like, oh, they made all the same stupid wrong choices that I did, and I just executed slightly better. So
Yeah,
it's really easy to like psych yourself out.
Yeah, when my first tournament, I was really constantly salty about my outcomes and stuff like that, because I was just always assuming, oh, that they got super lucky that they did this, it's not fair kind of thing. It's like, it's randomizer, get over it kind of.
Yeah, it is what it is. You can beat yourself up all the time over losing a rando run, but at the end of the day, sometimes it's just a 50-50 that's out of your control.
Yeah. Wow. Flaffy just lighting the room on fire.
Half magic, man. I also like how these players perfectly swap spots and are fighting the exact same bosses, just in opposite orders.
And about equally as efficiently. I don't even know if Flaffy swung a sword at any point in that fight. That's how much magic she had.
I mean, other than like the initial, did she do the initial spin or just straight fire rod?
I don't know. I didn't actually catch the very start of the fight. I just saw fire rod from every which way, and it just cooked it.
So at this point, our players are tied in crystals. Patty just has to mirror and finish Eastern, and he'll be a crystal ahead. And Flaffy looks like she's going into Swamp Palace. So at this point in time, unless it's in one of those overworld spots, you got to be thinking, you know, Ice Rod in Pendant something. You got to be thinking. I mean, the funny thing is, it could just as easily be, oh, this is actually a Pyramid Fairy check. Yeah,
this is a good play here. I was looking at Eastern for a while, but I forgot about it because it's been so long since we've really done Ice Palace from Patty's side, which was the first crystal that was needed for this. He's getting the second one right now, but I completely forgot about this. So this could easily have something really valuable. Yeah, especially for Flaffy's view, because they don't have the flippers yet either.
Yeah, she needs to go to Checkerboard Cave to get those in order to do Swamp, so...
Yeah. Which is important, because Patty didn't do left side Swamp, and that could be Ice Rod. So if Flaffy gets those flippers soon, we can see a Swamp play and find out what that is. But if Flaffy takes too long getting that...
Or... Ice Rod right here, goes up, checks which medallion she needs, go mode T-Rock, go mode Swamp.
Yeah. Well, if we have the flippers, but if you don't get the flippers and you go straight to T-Rock here, you might be full clearing a T-Rock, looking for flippers that we already know are in Checkerboard. Unfortunately, nothing is here.
Alright, what's next for Flaffy?
I would like to see a T-Rock check, but that seems...
I know, I'm surprised we haven't seen a Death Mountain play at all.
I understand the reasoning as to why you wouldn't, because you kind of want to go for that Ice Rod, so that you can go up there, and if it's the right one, you can just clear the dungeon while you're there, but without that knowledge, you're still gambling a 1 in 3.
Yeah, I feel like I'd be more inclined to... Maybe if, like, I had 2 medallions, going up and checking these dark room, or the dark Death Mountain would be less efficient. Actually,
I don't mind how long it's taken them though, because I'm not a big believer in just trying to squeeze out as many go mode dungeons as you possibly can. I like to just play it safe, clear crystals when I can, and see what I get out of them.
It's so easy to go straight for the Ice Rod's always in T-Rock play.
Yeah.
We've seen it happen every now and then, and you never know, based on your opponent, you'd be like, well, maybe they won't make this play. Maybe this is the play that I need to get that W.
Flaffy there.
Patty finishing up Eastern Palace. He's now sitting at 6 crystals. So he is just looking for that Ice Rod for the last dungeon.
Looks like he's gonna walk all the way back to the Fat Fairy turn-in instead of Mirror Flute, which definitely slower, but probably not by a huge margin.
I still feel bad that Patty is playing as Garfield against his will.
If it makes him feel better, I hate the sprite less.
That's true. Oh, it is Bombos! Oh, no.
It is. Oh, no. Okay. Okay.
Wow.
Did we not even go to Hookshot Cave?
No, Flaffy walked right by it.
I understand walking by to check the dungeon. It's maybe she's just opening it up.
Yeah, that's what
Head
I was saying.
back.
She's gonna
This
open
makes
it
more
up,
sense.
check Hookshot Cave, find Ice Rod, and that will be commentator's go mode.
You are right. There is absolutely nothing, not even some health in that
No,
pipe cave.
it's just all Zora money.
It's just sad.
You know, I'm kind of tempted to think that Patty's just aware of the book, but he's seeing it as a red herring, which the book is very well known for that at times, or it's required.
It is. It is two locations that are extremely annoying to check, so I don't blame him for not doing it right now. Granted, there's never a better time to do Bombos than right out of Swamp, but eh.
So where the heck is this Ice Rod? We have several locations still left to check.
Unfortunately, for Flaffy, none of those are really close to T-Rock because they're all checked. We're going to Spike Cave.
Nice. Well, here's the dilemma, man. You have Crystal Swamp. Well, she doesn't have... Yeah, because she doesn't have the flippers. But let's say she gets the flippers. You have Crystal Swamp, you have pendant dungeons you can do, or you still have, like, the purple chest overworld locations. I'm of the type to... I don't know. Do a little bit of the overworld dungeon, or spots, and then do crystal dungeons. I don't know why, but as I said earlier, pendant dungeons are just always last, unless you check them extremely early.
Yeah, I would never ever go into Mire here without being certain that Mire is the last place to go. Just because it's such a slow dungeon for 2 items.
Yeah.
And Flaffy, because of Spike Cave, had to save and quit, so we'll see where they go from here. I'm guessing they're gonna go to the Mire area now. There's not too much else that's like really dense for items. And if they really choose, I don't mind going into desert at this situation here because you don't have too much going on. But I would strongly avoid Mire. We don't even know what Mire is. I don't think Patty checked.
Yeah, we don't. If it's Bombos, I'd go right in. Or at least open it up, mirror, check desert real quick.
Yeah, that's true.
It is Ether.
It is
okay,
Ether.
so
that's good.
That's kind of a relief. Unless, oh my gosh. It's always fun to play pretend, but let's say dip T-Rod for Ether for Ice Rod and Mire.
Oh, that would be awful. Why would you suggest such a thing?
Cause it's funny. I don't know.
Plus, the Ice Rod's on pedestal anyway. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah, that's true. Well, once we find Ether in T-Rod to go do Pendant Mire.
I believe Flaffy already checked the ledge here, so they don't need to go down.
No, she is missing those flippers. So if she does find Ice Rod in desert, she might flute away and miss the flippers.
Yeah, that's possible.
So I feel like you just go ahead and check.
Yeah.
Checkerboard anyway.
Probably full clear the area. Patty might be going in.
I could see Patty going into T-Rock.
I think
it's
based
on his playstyle so far in this run.
If I were Patty, I might have done the dwarf stuff first before going up here in general, just so that I could feel comfortable going straight in. But we'll see what he chooses to do after this. He might even go to the Spike Cave like Flaffy did. The thing is, with what Patty has left, I think there's about like a 30% chance that the Ice Rod is in T-Rock right now. Using the combined knowledge of what Flaffy has checked as well, of course.
I wonder if Patty's gonna at least, if he does go west, go check like Spike Cave, if he's gonna remember to check Ether Tablet.
Yeah. I'll have to, if he doesn't, then we'll be certain that he's forgotten about that book.
Yeah, it looks like Landmoles, I think, is holding the second item, which is a little bit more valuable since it's also green pendant, so you essentially get 2 items, but at the same time having to trek all the way back over to the East Palace area just to turn that in is not very enticing, and it looks like Patty is making the T-Rock dive. The madman.
Huge.
Flaffy getting her flipper. She'll probably head straight into Swamp Palace after this.
Yep, there's not too much else for Flaffy to do. Can't go into Mire. There's the 3 items from Dwarf, Pegs, and Purple Chest.
And Landmola's green pendant.
Yeah, Landmola's green pendant, and then eventually the pedestal, but that's not possible either right now.
Yeah, the other thing about this play for Patty is because he's done all the other dungeons, so if he finds Ice Rod in here, he could just finish it and go to G-Tower, just like that.
Yeah.
Which would be a fantastic play and great routing from him. But,
I think the odds for him right now are about 36%. I kind of did the math in my head, and we've got the 3 from the Dwarf stuff, we've got the 2 from Swamp that he hasn't checked, we've got the 2 from Mire that neither have checked, and then we've got the green pendant pedestal. But one of those has to be an Ether, if that's the case. So it's really a good play right now to go here, as we start pulling items that are an Ice Rod. That's not
yeah. There's 2, so that leaves what, 5 more items plus Mimic, or 3 more items plus Mimic.
Yeah.
Man, it's pretty rare to get 2 items this early in the dungeon. A lot of times you get like a dungeon item, like 2 small keys and a big key.
Yeah. Usually what I do is if I see the small or 1 item, I just assume immediately that the other ones are either 2 small keys or a small key and a big key, and I don't even worry about it anymore.
Alright, well, curious to see if Flaffy's going to check the left side of Swamp Palace, which I'm actually going to pay attention now and count the items in this dungeon. First chest was book. I know, because who knows? It could have been compass, big key map in big chest, and Patty actually got all the items out of here, and we've just been talking out of our butts this whole time.
Yeah, we didn't pay full attention to Patty's swamp. We were looking at Flaffy at the time. And that would increase the odds of this T-Rock play a lot more too.
Oh, this is dicey for Patty.
Squeezed through, but he's gonna get hit with his bunny beam.
Oh, and still didn't kill him. Wow.
Was the first hit a poke? I don't see how that shouldn't have killed it.
Yeah, he's got to be careful. Okay. Walking from the underneath the laser is it's terrifying.
I've been hit every time I've tried that.
Yeah, especially if you're like going for laser bridge skips. You know, you always want to dash inward from above, from the top of the laser, as opposed to from the bottom. Yeah. Otherwise, you're going to get hit every time.
Unfortunately for Patty, hasn't turned in that shovel yet. He's got no half magic. And with the laser bridge coming up with low hearts, he's going to want to be using his magic on that. Oof. Sometimes the fire on these... Oh my god!
Oh wow!
He is trying to snipe him.
Oh wait, there was the big key. What was in the big chest? Okay, so there is an item on the left side. Yeah, there is one item on the left.
Let's hope Patty finds some health in this room here.
Well, if anything, he could take a quick death. I think it'd just be faster if he got inside and then just fell down the hole once.
Yeah,
Right
that's
by the
true.
big chest.
He
Because
is
now he's going to run the
rich
risk
boy.
of taking the death later and having to walk back.
We're on
But,
our way to 2,000 rupees.
oh baby, we still have G-Tower too.
He hasn't spent any money on Zora yet, though.
That's true.
Which makes me a little more surprised he didn't go anywhere before this. So many options for him.
He hasn't done any of the flipper things aside from dungeons, so Hobo is still on the table, actually, now that I remember.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about that one. And while we don't have them, technically the Witch and Powder are both available. So the odds of this T-Rock are actually a lot lower than I thought.
Mm-hmm.
And even more so just in Patty's eyes, because there's things he hasn't checked that Flaffy has. Waiting out the fire bar to make sure he doesn't get
Yeah, that's smart.
It's
You do
about the same
that,
as using the hook shot, but it doesn't really matter.
or burn it. That works too.
It appears he doesn't know about the pots on the right either. He
Or
might be
maybe
opening up
he's-
that back door to make sure if he dies, it's not going to cost him time.
He probably knows. He's just skipping it. And Flaffy was going for the fancy little quick kill on the first phase of Argus, which only getting a couple kills, but yeah, you love to see the effort. That's one of those that I need to learn.
Yeah,
It's just so hard.
it is really hard. I know the how, but there might be more to it than the common knowledge of you just hook dash and let them all die to the sword.
And as Argus dies, handing Flaffy a heart piece, Eddie takes a death from a laser plus a fall.
Fortunately, planned. Well, that's not good.
Oh,
That's
good.
not good.
Moment
I
of
think we
truth
got
right
one
here.
item left.
Moment of truth right here.
So one item and a small kill on this bridge.
Here we go.
But this could be the compass or the map, whichever one he hasn't collected actually, so it could be on Trinex itself.
Wow.
Oh. That was...
Three red
There
rupees,
was-
man.
There was a red rupee in the first chest as well with the bombs beside it, so there were 4 reds in T-Rock in total.
Dang. That's gotta be frustrating. And once
Yeah, it
again,
doesn't
he'll be
feel
missing
good.
that ether tablet.
What he could do though is go through all the flipper related things and never go into the dark world. Try to get that ice rod so that he can keep his portal.
You might be thinking about doing that, actually.
He looked like he was going to 5, but I'm not sure what would be at 5 for him.
Gonna see what's on this Lake Hylia island. Another red.
I'm sure that feels great to see right now. Let's just hope Hobo isn't another red, or he's gonna be real upset.
We're gonna find out what is on the left side of Swamp from Flaffy's side.
Yeah, I have a feeling one of these 3 flipper locations are gonna hold that ice rod.
Which one's it gonna be? It's not the green.
Oh no, that's just cruel.
Dude, it's in Meyer. What are you talking about? It's gotta be in Meyer. Yeah, this is when the game can get a little bit frustrating.
Yeah, when you're just searching for that ice rod, it's a very common frustration with this game is, oh good, Crystal T-Rock, ice rod is going to be somewhere miserable.
Mm-hmm.
And
Just
it
why we
sure
also
is.
joke a lot whenever you get early ice rod. We're like, well, Pendant T-Rock, calling it.
Yep.
Every time.
The funny thing is this ice rod could be somewhere very nice in the smith and the pegs and all that. We
Mhm.
just opted not to go there. Oh,
Well-
butter.
Just a gold sword, so no ice rod still, but that is a nice item to have for Flaffy. So here's the thing. Her and Patty are pretty much neck and neck at this point. It's just a matter of who picks the right location. And as long as Flaffy does not also dive to your rock.
Good news right now is still no T-Rock. Is this a hobo check?
I would assume so.
Yeah, it looks like an island and hobo check.
Yeah, both players still forgetting to check that Bombos tablet.
Yeah, we have both tablets. Meyer, Lamola's green pendant, pedestal, eventually, wherever that ether tablet is, or medallion.
At this point, though, I still have to give advantage to Patty, just because of how much of T-Rock he's done. So, even if Flaffy was to find the Ice Rod first, she would still have to go through all of T-Rock. Because there's really no such thing as Go Mode T-Rock, especially if it's a vanilla Big Key.
At the same time, if Patty gets the Ice Rod about a minute later, they might be at the exact same moment going through T-Rock.
Mm-hmm. So, one more recap. The only items we haven't seen yet are either of the tablets, Bombos or Ether. Landmolus has an item. There are 2 items in Pendant Mire that we don't have access to quite yet. Excuse me. And then the Blacksmith, Peg Cave, Purple Chest. Shebang.
We're checking a tablet, or the pedestal, not specifically a tablet. We're using the book, is what I'm trying to say. Which is another thing Patty could have done on his trip up the mountain, but didn't.
That's great.
This is not a good thing.
It's okay. As long as we never find Ether, we're fine.
Ether in the next thing that Flaffy checks.
As long as we don't find Ether.
Might just be the Smith.
I will say, though, this is a pretty... It's not very often you see the late Blacksmith.
Yeah.
For Flaffy, it makes sense just because of how late the mitts were for her. When she had Crystal Dungeon, she could do.
Yeah.
Patty had the chance to do it, but he got the bow and then did other things instead.
Yeah, Patty's response to that was, I would like to kill bosses, get some crystals on the board so I don't feel so behind.
Yeah.
And unfortunately cost him this section, which has a high chance of being something now.
Well, we are going to see the Landmolus fight from him, so if we do find that Ether Medallion and nothing off of Landmola, then who knows? At this point, we're just waiting. We're just waiting to see that Ice Rod.
Is it here?
And there it is.
It sure is.
Wow, in Peg Cave. So that is Go Mode for Flaffy, and she's got to finish off T-Rock. Well, she just has to start T-Rock, but first she has to get rid of this stupid frog.
Yep. The frog cannot follow you into the dungeons unless you're dropping through a hole.
Now, there is still time for Patty to...
Ether medallion?
Oh gosh, if Landmolus drops Ether, that's like GG right there.
Yeah, we wanted to see the Ether medallion off of that dwarf right there so that we could be 100% certain that Patty would not run that risk.
Well, this is good for Patty. So he can turn in the green pendant, and then he literally... I don't think he has any other options other than Catfish and then Purple Chest, Peg, and all that stuff. So.
Yeah, and Flaffy's stocking up on potions.
And the other thing to remember is that Patty has already done all of T-Rock except for beat the boss. So while Flaffy has a head start now, Patty will be able to, whenever he gets the Ice Rod, be able to catch up. And it's going to be... This could easily come down to just a G-Tower routing.
Yep. I'm feeling a little bit in favor of Flaffy right now, but it's could be close. Depends on where Patty goes right after this.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't go back into Swamp Palace, which I doubt he will. But you got to be feeling a little bit nervous about it.
Yeah. On that note, it's another advantage for Flaffy with the gold sword. But depending on the GT route, with silvers likely in there, could easily be whoever finds those silvers and who doesn't.
Patty now checking that shovel spot, so he'll have his half magic.
This is the very important part for Patty. It looks like he's actually going to run. But where is he running to? Never mind.
He needs to flute to 3.
Ooh.
He's checking green pennant.
Yep.
And then...
So, a quick check, so it's not going to take too much time, but it depends on where he goes afterwards again. I would think at this point he is going to be behind Flaffy, even if he gets the ice rod right away next. But it would
You'd
be
think
by
that,
too
but
much.
T-Rock is actually... I mean, it's pretty quick if you're just double backing through.
Yeah, but he has to climb the mountain. So that
I mean, Flaffy will get to skip Mimic Cave, but that's about it. And because it was a vanilla big key, we'll more than likely have to do Laser Bridge regardless.
Is Patty? I guess he will have to go to the Dark World either way. He's going the right way, though. That's good. Just don't go check the pedestal.
If he had Ether, he might. But he has no reason to at this point.
Uh-oh. Okay.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
It's okay. I was worried. Thought he was gonna doubt himself on his skull count and go back in and kill Moth. I think he just saw something there.
How did he never
not
checked?
bomb this. That's something I've seen Patty do several times now.
Oh, I know. I think it's because he did C-shaped house first, got the mirror, and then went north. Who forgets bomb hut?
Patty does. Somewhat often.
What a dork.
It's gonna be okay,
well,
though.
He's gonna be getting his ice rod, and we're gonna be getting what us commentators want. Of course, you know, we are paid to be unbiased, and by paid I mean asked kindly to be as unbiased as possible. So of course, in the end, we're only rooting for a close match, and I feel like this is gonna be relatively close. Okay. You know, this is not a bad idea, because he's going to have to get rid of the frog regardless.
Yeah,
so
it's a good check first. The only thing is he'll have to go in a second time, which, oh boy, not a waste of time anyways. I mean, he'd probably still do that looking for silvers. It's not going to cost him anything.
Yeah, imagine if that was silvers right there. How huge that would be. And Patty just about to get his ice rod. We'll be heading up to the mountain next. And of course, he's already done all of T-Rock, so he just has to get up the mountain, make his way through T-Rock again.
We will have to see how good Patty's execution will be in comparison to Flaffy's to see if he can come back and take a lead. Because Flaffy, I would say at this point, there's no way that Flaffy's not ahead. Just a little bit.
Gold Sword's going to give Flaffy a pretty big advantage on just clearing certain rooms, you know, dealing with like land molas and Moldern 2. But especially for the Ganon fight, if neither of these guys find silver arrows in particular. I mean, it only really saves you time on the first 2 phases, but it's still time saved.
Yeah.
It basically guarantees a 1-in-1. And guarantees that you're not going to take a bunch of silly damage. Man, this has been a very interesting seed overall. It could have. Here's the thing: had Patty, after getting the mitts, had gone back south to go do, you know, digging game, he would have got the bow, and then blacksmith, purple chest, he would have left with the ice rod, and then he would have just been missing what? Nothing.
Yeah, that would have been real.
He would have hit go mode right there.
Although it might have delayed his check on the flippers.
True. Yeah, it's a tough call to make. Because you're like,
well, maybe
I
it wouldn't
have.
have. It's just a nice route. I don't see how it might have.
Alright, we'll see real quick just how quick it is to get back through T-Rock.
Yeah, he's not really that far behind, but the gold sword will make Trinex a little smoother for Flaffy. Though he's gonna have more HP getting to that boss fight.
Yeah, Flaffy does have a potion.
Yeah.
Use that. She might also go ahead and set up the back door. That she does have to do laser bridge still. And I believe it was the third chest down that had the small key in it. Everything else was a red rupee.
Yep, 3 reds and a small key on that third one there, as you have mentioned.
I'm going to be curious to see how much that gold sword makes a difference. But following T-Rock, like, it's going to be a straight shot into G-Tower. And, you know, if one person goes left, one person goes right. There are a few different routing options that players like to do in G-Tower. Some like to check the 2 chests on the right, and if they get a small key, they just continue on. Some people like to go straight left to Stalfos room and mirror out, and then go all the way right.
Yeah. Well, if you're not checking anything else for silvers, which is gonna work out. Silvers aren't there, but won't get the full grasp of what Patty went through.
gonna be $40 short.
Why is that not hitting? That's so weird.
Yeah, that's weird.
I don't have an explanation. That should have worked.
Patty also setting up the safety door.
Yeah, a little.
It's always better to be safe than dead.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna die anyway, then make sure it costs less time.
He's got a tempered half magic and red mail, so I don't think he will need it, but it's good to be safe. Yeah, with gold sword, that Trinex is already falling quickly for Flaffy.
Yeah, Flaffy will likely be the first person to finish this boss, and we'll be heading into G-Tower.
Real smooth at the end.
Nice. Gold sword OP, man.
Ooh, backdoor strats from Patty. Fortunately, no menu ahead of time because the hits were a little off, so he wasn't fully sure if he hit the 5 or not.
Yeah, it looked like you had to hit him a couple more times or something. Which can happen if you hit him with the sword or even with the ice rod, or like right as he's like about to change or about to become unstunned. It registers, it visually registers as a hit without actually counting.
Yeah, and then there's a frame perfect version where if you hit it with a sword, it'll just refreeze it for some reason.
Oh, really?
It just makes no sense. Yeah, it's like super rare, but I don't get it. The game just is like, it counts as unfrozen as the damage gets applied, I guess, and because the only way it can take damage in that phase will freeze it, I assume it just refreezes it by assuming it's a fire rod shot. It's like Patty will be about maybe 20 seconds behind.
Not too far behind.
Yeah. All
right. What do you think this big key is going to be? Based on how this seed has gone, feeling like a early big key or like an ice armless big key?
I had a lot of early ones lately, so I'm kind of willing to lean that way, but I'm just going to go with my standard 6 as my guess.
Yeah, it looks like Flaffy's going to bail on out of there after checking the first 2 chests, getting a small key, but electing to not check all the way to the compass room. Bombs on the torch.
See where Patty goes here. He will go right. So it'll be a decision of G-Tower that answers who's going to be going through to Ganon at the end first. It won't say who wins. It'll just say who gets to get in first most of
Oh, there's Ether.
I was guessing 6 for Ether. Sorry, my bad.
Well, you win! Congratulations.
Oh, now I can brag online.
Yeah, you can post it on your Twitter that you never use.
Yeah.
Alright. Chest number 8. Just bombs for Flaffy, and okay, about to check the right side. Which
this right side pays off.
This might be the lead change. Might not. Compass or map. Another big 20.
Hello, big
heart.
20s.
And a small
No.
piece of heart. So that means it is going to be either on the left side, or Bob Chest, Ice Armos, or could always be that tile room.
There are 6 chests that benefit Flaffy, or 5 chests that benefit Flaffy right now, and 4 that benefit Patty. 4 for Patty being Bob and the 3 from Ice Armos. Flaffy's being this one right here in the 4 in Rando room.
Chest number 9. So basically, if it's in Rando room, this is going to hurt Patty quite a bit, since he is going for the full right side all the way to Ice Armos.
As much as this floor disappearing. Oh, it didn't start yet. We're good. Okay.
If it's in Bob Ice Armos, then these guys are going to be pretty much tied up.
Yeah, and if it's in tile room, I don't
10.
really know how it's going to be lined up.
11, 12, 13. Oh my gosh.
With the lead.
Oh wow. Unless it's tile room. Don't forget, if it's tile room,
If it's tile room, Patty loses that lead immediately. But we're looking at 80%.
Whoops.
Oh no. Bomb jump. Patty bomb jump.
He doesn't know that much. Oh my god, they're both in the same room. Well, they were for 1 second.
Patty's lead has diminished to about 5 seconds. So a little bit more with the careful lineup there.
$100. 3 more
Is
to
it
go.
a tile room? Just to add a little more insult to that ice rod injury.
Oh, and Flaffy also makes the same mistake, but does get the bomb jump.
Ooh, almost walked off afterwards. But,
Well done.
A clean bomb jump though.
Yeah, no silvers in hand. I mean, if you do that. Ice Armos the quote-unquote normal way.
Yeah, those silvers might not be in Ganon's Tower at all. Only got a few locations left for them.
Will it be vanilla? Mirror shield. Bombs. It's in tile.
Oh my god.
Oh
And
my
that
gosh.
lead is back in Flaffy's favor.
Wow, what an awful seed.
Yeah.
But actually, it wasn't really, it wasn't really too awful with that ice rod placement. These players just made it awful.
The choice.
Yeah. The seed was actually pretty nice if you give it, if you're the type to do overworld
Yeah.
checks.
This might be the first time I've seen 2 players in the same race skip that Smith section.
Yeah, it's pretty rare.
And typically it doesn't even make a difference either way, but it certainly mattered in the biggest way on this one. Sometimes if you skip it and it's an item, it's like, hey, here's this fire rod, you desperately need it to continue, or here's this cane of Samaria, not here's this ice rod, you've cleared the entire seed, I'm sorry.
My bad. Alright, well this is going to be interesting because, let's see, if Flaffy does tile room before checking the 4 chests in the right, then she'll be first one up the gauntlet. But if she checks the first one on the right, then mirrors out to check tile room, since generally tile room is always last.
See if they menu here. Nope, they're just gonna key dash right out, which was a good.
Which I still think is a better play overall.
Yeah, I still agree with this. If it wasn't a race, I might not, because it's just like whatever. We'll just clear it all, not have to worry about it kind of thing. But in a race, you don't want to spend 30 seconds in a tile room going, better be here, I'm really unhappy.
Oh, Patty's got to be especially careful.
Yeah, I think he might want to death warp out of this room. He probably won't, but I think he should. Or nope, it didn't heal.
Oh my gosh, these guys are gonna be.
Is he doing it? Where's he going?
Where's he going?
Patty, no.
Patty, what are you doing? There's nothing over here.
Patty doesn't know either. It's okay.
Okay. He's gonna go check the big chest.
He's going to Bob again. Does he not know he has the mirror, maybe?
And
there he goes.
Flaffy utilizing that cape.
Yep.
Which is...
Patty about 20 seconds behind.
Patty does have to be careful though. I don't think he has any safeties.
No filled bottles. I think he's got 3 emptied. Well, one's a B. He's got 2 bottles.
It's gotta be. I can't imagine anyone going up the gauntlet at 1.5 hearts. Heck, he might just die right here in Tile Room.
I don't think he knows the cape strat.
No, he doesn't. So the cool thing about the cape strat is, for whatever reason, it doesn't cost magic. Well, step 1, the cape makes it so that the wall masters won't grab you. Step 2, if you're holding onto the wall or something while using the cape, it doesn't use magic for whatever reason. So it makes that Tile Room so much easier.
Yeah, really useful.
Don't have to deal with anything, but if you guess chest number 22,
you're a cruel person.
You're a monster.
Patty has survived.
He needs to just take a death right here. There you go. All right.
Good.
Smart. Very smart. All right, this is going to come down. It's just pure execution here on out.
Yep.
If the only major difference could be is if one player checks a chest that happens to have the silvers.
Yeah,
so
and that gold sword. It's going to slowly put favor in Flaffy, but it's not going to be a huge amount because everything in the gauntlet will still die to the tempered sword.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, who do you guys think? Who do you think has got this? It's really hard to say, to be honest.
Yeah.
I feel like overall Patty has had the better execution between the two of them. But he's also made some relatively questionable plays, so it's sometimes it's hard to tell. Oh, and a nice fairy drop right there in the mimic too. Flappy
especially
would be,
with no blue left.
Yeah. I'm assuming Patty will elect to possibly bonk across to get his magic up, because you kind of want to have magic going further for like dealing with the Wizrobes and even dealing with land mollas, since neither player has silvers.
Another fairy dropping for our players. Ooh, that's a good idea. Let's see if Patty goes with that. Nope, he does not. It's just gonna heal to full, no fairy in a bottle remaining. Does that mean Flaffy already used the blue at some point?
Yeah, she used it in the spike room. She was down to 1 heart.
Okay.
Though I don't know if she has a spare.
No, she only bought 1. She had 800 rupees to go and buy more, but she opted just the 1.
Flaffy
that was, I don't know if you saw that on Patty's screen, but he missed his fire rod shot. It hit the pot, and because fire rod's fire explosion, whatever, is weird, it just killed another random stuff.
Nice. Flaffy using a lot of magic up in here. Gotta be careful though. You want to still have enough magic to make those 2 Wizard rooms a lot more convenient.
There is
also
a magic pot in the next room that you can grab, and it is enough for both game uses, even on no magic, like the non-half magic. And we'll get it, so we're good.
Patty getting a double hit with a single fire rod shot on one of the land mollas, but fortunately getting hit while trying to charge up his sword makes him miss the double there. It's going to be a 3 cycle for him.
And the unfortunate part, no gold sword means those swings aren't as powerful. So if he would have had that 3rd Lamola here dead or cycle beforehand, but no gold sword.
Perhaps
if you think about it, that skipping out on the left side swamp has really not cost too much time for Patty at all.
Mm-hmm.
I think Flaffy's interested in finding out what this stun prize is.
It's a little bit of extra time loss, and it's nothing.
It's not going to work when you kill things. So burning an enemy, I think, has its own drop pool.
Oh, okay.
Which ruins that, unfortunately.
Gotcha.
And that also was some magic out of the pool.
Yeah.
Well, which is going to mean torch strats have to be done, and Patty will take the lead because of it.
Wow. Just like that.
It's really tough movement in here too.
I think this Pikachu sprite's just a little bit too big for these walkways.
It's harder to move on some of these wide sprites.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you feel like you're fine and there's less space than you think.
Oh man, Patty takes a dip and falls down, getting hit by one of the little fireballs.
Give Flaffy a little bit of recovery room. It's only down by about 10 seconds now.
Will we find the silvers? And who's got the better silverless strats?
I would start with guessing with Flaffy with the gold sword to start the intro of the fight. But that doesn't really change silverless, and I would say the biggest fear is silverless. Like this is, oh my!
There they are.
And Flaffy will not check it.
Go back. She doesn't have any arrows anyway, so it doesn't matter.
No arrows either.
Oh my gosh, that's a heartbreaker, man.
Yeah, Patty had probably about a 15-second lead go towards Ganon, I would say at one point.
Oh, that is such a heartbreaker.
I think if Patty didn't find silvers there, Flaffy's gold sword might have carried her into the win.
Yeah, the difference between silvers and non-silvers at this point in the race, with how close they are, is monumental. It's huge. It's a game changer right there. And oh man, that's she's not going to be happy when she sees that. Yeah,
it's still going to be a little bit of execution for how well you perform. I mean, Flaffy skipped about, I would say, 10 chests now, starting from T-Rock Laser Bridge that could have had silvers in it.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a lot of opportunities there.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, I'm sure she's competent and feeling confident with her abilities to do silverless, but you know, just skipping those chests might make or break this race. But we'll have to see.
Good start
Things
for
can
the
happen. Just an negative from Patty.
Ooh, didn't release the spin fast enough. That's going to cost a lot of time.
Oh, not getting the right angles either.
No.
This fight can easily get out of hand. The longer you go, because the longer you go, then the higher chance that he's going to throw more blue balls or get out of sync, so that like you can only have her hit him like one time. Yeah,
that's unfortunate. There was that one cycle early on that just went wrong because she missed the spin by about like a half second. You could tell she was about to release the spin as the ball hit her, and that cost her probably 4 extra cycles just because of how bad the remaining cycles were. So that's unfortunate as well. It's giving Patty the room he needs to be able to clean this up even with a mistake.
Yeah. 6. And we get to hear the lovely voice of Patty as he counts the number of hits on Ganon.
Yeah.
Might want to switch back to Flappy's audio.
We are back to Flappy's audio.
Alright, great. You'll get to hear Patty's voice once he comes in for the interview. But this has been a ridiculous race, coming down to that ice rod location. Flappy with a huge lead, finding it first. But having a full clear T-Rock.
Ooh, that's close.
And then Tile Room. Alright, well, Flappy does have a fairy still. Patty still has to be a little bit careful.
Oh my goodness.
That was close.
There have been several close calls on this fight alone now. Flaffy almost got hit by one spinning out from Ganon on the first jump.
This might be the double to seal it. And that is gonna do it.
Just don't fall on the win.
He's just barely gonna clutch out that 2-hour 2.
Yeah, sub 2
wow.
Patty. And Flaffy, who had all the rights of being a sub 2, unfortunately just won't cut it. This is really unfortunate.
Imagine falling right there.
Yeah, swagging out the fire rod and you just fall right off the edge.
But Patty does take the win, finishing with an official SRTV time of 1 hour, 59 minutes, and 32 seconds. We're going to go ahead and, well, get your GGs in chat, first of all, and then we're going to go ahead and bring him in once Flaffy finishes. But what a crazy back-and-forth race throughout the entirety. And G-Tower, I mean, nobody does tile room first. Nobody does tile room even second to last. Tile room is always last. It's like, it's a gentleman's rule. Like, come on.
Yep.
And who would have guessed that we got a tile room G-Tower, and then those clutch silvers, which, you know, Flaffy's putting up a really good silverless fight.
Yep.
I think those silvers alone pretty much sealed it for Patty.
Yeah, unfortunately. Flaffy's been doing really good on this fight. There was a little hiccup, but that was mostly because didn't expect a poke coming. It just happened to be a poke. But
yeah,
already back on track with this. This should be a really easy fight. Well, not easy, but it should be a done fight pretty soon. Flaffy's not really struggling with it at all. Definitely a practiced player here. Ooh!
Oh no.
Tried to hold down to dodge the bat, but it was enough to throw her off.
That's rough.
Quite literally. Patty's in the waiting room. Let's bring him in here.
Shall we go ahead and bring him in, or should we wait until Flaffy finishes?
Let's confirm that he's ready, just in case he's like testing his mic.
Alright. I would like to see, with the half magic in hand, the usage of Fire Rod on the silverless portion of the fight. Just because you're more likely to guarantee getting the 3 hits per cycle.
Yeah.
Per torch cycle.
Let's bring in Patty now. Hello, Patty.
Garfield sucks, man.
Listen, I have screenshots of me selecting your stupid sprite when I made the seed, so it's not my fault.
I can't believe you do that to me.
It's trying to throw you off.
When I opened it up, I said some unsavory words about you, Willard, I'm not gonna lie. I will repeat them here.
Listen, you were 0-2. You were 0-2 with Cactuar, and now you get your first win with Garfield. That's all I'm saying, man.
It's actually Garfield.
Excuse me.
It's Garfield. It's got a purple blanket.
How'd you feel about that seed?
I don't know, man. That was weird. It felt great until I realized that the only reason it felt great is because I made really stupid decisions that paid off, and then Ice Rod was just nowhere, which sucked.
Like, we wanted to say that this was kind of an awful seed, but the Ice Rod was free, basically.
I mean, yeah.
So it's really hard.
I was in Thieves Town without mitts, though, right? Like, I didn't get mitts until I left and got them later. I don't even remember where they were. So, like, I had to route it back in eventually, but there's no reason to go back when, like, I could just go.
Well, so the routed win, you finished Thieves, you got the mirror out of C-shaped hut, and then you went up and did Graveyard Ledge, King's Tomb, got the mitts. And then you stalled for a minute, and then mirrored and got the flippers.
Okay, yeah, I could have gotten it earlier.
Yeah. So if you had just routed back south through Village of Outcasts, you would have gotten the Ice Rod and the bow, and essentially hit go mode right then and there. But of course, how are you supposed to know that when you have... And then you might have put off getting the flippers, so who knows?
Yeah, I had like a million things that I could have done right there, so I just kind of chose one.
It was interesting, your decisions to skip certain locations like Hype Cave, or putting off all the Zora, all the flipper lock locations. A lot of overworld skipping, which
I've just been screwed by dungeons so many times that I just at this point, with whatever they have going on with this logic, I just go to dungeons. I try to go to dungeons.
Yeah.
That's why I did Skullwoods. Like, as soon as I got the fire out, I'm like, alright, Skullwoods is a pendant, I'm going there. That was like what I said. I was like, it is a pendant, I am going there.
Well, real quick, just want to give a GG to your opponent, flaafykins, finishing with a time of 2:04:20.
Oh, nice.
With a very flawless silverless follow-up there.
Yeah.
I'll bring him in as well.
Missing those silvers up the gauntlet.
Also, I went through the door and said, because I had mic on in my stream, I said out loud, actually, if those are silvers, that's going to save me some time. So I went back and opened it up and just started laughing.
Yeah. The silvers were in the mini helmet room, the top right chest.
At that point, I had no arrows, so I'm like, it would not be silvers for me.
GG, Flaffy.
Good job. I've been.
It was a crazy race because Patty, first of all, didn't get bombs in escape. I don't know if he just chose not to farm bombs or the ones he did kill. The green knights. The green guys.
Yeah.
I didn't kill any. That was like the one thing I didn't kill.
Yeah, you farmed a bit of rats, and we were like, oh no, they might not be in the drop pool at all.
Yeah, they weren't.
Yeah, having the gloves back there, I was like, oh god, thank god I got bombs.
Yeah, I did not. That sucked.
Oh no.
It was off of first kill.
It was a pretty crazy back and forth. Patty getting the mirror was the first one to get the mitts, so then that opened up a bunch of locations. While Flaffy got the bow first, and then did all the bow stuff before finally getting the mitts. So you guys kind of traded spaces all the time, and then Patty went for the T-Rock dive, looking for Ice Rod, finding nothing, and then went and checked some other stuff. While Flaffy got to do T-Rock the first time with Ice Rod. So you guys were both in the Trinex fight at the same time. Is when you guys synced back up.
Oh. Did you also check tile room last?
I sure did.
Yeah.
Tile room always last.
I went right. I never go right, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go right, and it would have worked, but I didn't stop for tile room.
No.
Yeah. My last race was decided by me not doing, or me going right. I never do right. Let's do right.
I forgot. I was panicking. I forgot tile room. Like I went through right, and then I went through left, and then I kept going after getting all the chests in left because I was like, "What did I miss? Is there another chest? What is going on?" Tiles. Yeah. So
and then during Ice Armos, I had such a low amount of arrows. I got down to 9 arrows. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm gonna need these for the mimics. So I was like, I'm just gonna slash at them.
Everyone gives me crap, telling me that I pick up arrows all the time, but they pay off, man. Arrows are useful.
Patty, you missed the gold sword on left side swamp. That was what you skipped out of. So.
Oh.
Which, had silvers not been a thing, might have been had silvers not existed in the tower, might have been the difference maker in that Ganon fight.
Oh yeah.
Maybe, I guess.
I
also fell afterwards. I was just like,
well, ooh,
not counting that. If that didn't happen.
Oh. I fell after you won.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think I was setting up. I think I was setting up my my lantern glitch and then I saw the done. I was like, dang it.
Do you generally use lantern on the last phase of Ganon for Silverless?
I don't know the 3 cycle
with Fire Rod.
Silverless Ganon. So I figured I'd be safe and conserve magic.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, that was a wild race. It was very fun to watch. I hope you guys had fun. Sorry, Patty, about the Sprite mix-up. I'll talk to my people. They'll reach out. I'll send an apology and everything.
That was so weird. It's just I couldn't access the website at all, or at least the race seed. So Willard just sends me a DM with the race seed. I'm like, cool, good guy Willard. Deleted it after I said what I wanted. Did what I wanted. Here's the seed. It's Garfield. Okay.
Listen.
Willard is the worst person alive. I hate Willard with a raging passion. I'm gonna give him an earful when this is over.
The first one I sent didn't have the no background music or the quarter heart, so that's why I deleted it and sent a new one. It wasn't me going, oh, haha, I will get him this time.
I've discovered that I get decidedly less unhappy with my life while doing randomizers if I can listen to my music and talk. So I've decided that's what I'll do from now on. So, yeah, I'll ask questions later. They don't need to be asked right now.
Yeah, GG's to both you guys.
Yeah, GG.
Crazy
Did you
race.
ever check Pedestal?
No, I did not.
Pedestal was the mushroom. I got there and I'm like, oh my god, if this is the ice rod, I'm going to scream.
That's the second time in a row Pedestal's been mushroom for me in seeds. I just didn't know this time. Last time it was, and I just decided, because it was such a horrible seed, I got every single pendant, even though I didn't need to, and went and got the mushroom, and it wasn't the item I needed, which was a bummer, but I did it anyways. But yeah, that's... Whew, close call.
Yeah, the very next item I picked up was the ice rod for go mode.
Nice.
I was like, oh, thank God. Because I checked desert, but then Landmos had an item and also the green pendant. And I was like, after I left there, I'm kind of kicking myself. I was like, what if that had what I need? What if it had what I need?
It didn't.
It was pretty interesting that both you guys put off Blacksmith, Peg Cave, Purple Chest for like ever.
I normally do those like really fast. That's my favorite thing to do once I get myths is that quest.
Oh, and I bailed.
Even more weird that Patty, despite getting the book with that early swamp, never did any of the book things.
I forgot to check off book when I went into swamp, so instead of like going right to do bombos, I went to do other stuff. Then I was like, oh, I've got the book. I should check Pet, I guess, and kick myself for not checking bombos.
I actually didn't use a tracker this time, and I think that's why I didn't make any stupid mistakes, because I had to remember what I had.
Yeah.
So I think that actually helped me not being able to mark it down. Weirdly enough.
Sure.
The first thing I did when I got myths was going to ice for some reason. After I was like halfway through, I'm like, I only need the ice rod, the flippers, and what I need to get into Turtle Rock. This is not a really good spot to be in right now. But it turned out to be not so bad. I didn't have to go to the iced tea room.
Yeah, that. How about that first sword, Link's house?
That was weird.
It saved you from the Burna escape, which would have been awful.
So
scared the heck out of me, because I'm at my friend's house and I'm on a laptop that I haven't used in 2 years, which is why this has been just a technical nightmare. And I'm using an Xbox controller, and I had to map it at like 5 minutes before our race started. And I got the sword. I pressed what was supposed to be the B button, and it didn't work.
Oh no!
And it just started working randomly, like in the middle of escape. So
that's
I actually learned that last week. I also had sword in Link's house. In the rain state, until you go through the Uncle Tunnel, sword doesn't work.
Oh yeah, that is true.
I did the same. I did the same thing last week when I got the sword. I was trying to slash bushes. I'm like, B button's not working. B button's not working. What?
I didn't know that. Interesting. Wow, I like learning things about this game. That's stupid, but I like learning things about this game.
Well, you're not supposed to be able to, swing a weapon at the guards out there.
Yeah,
that's fair.
But either way, GG's to both you guys. Patty now going to be at 1-2, and Flaffy falling to 0-3, which unfortunately makes you mathematically unable to move on to the brackets.
That's fine.
I'm assuming both you guys...
Technically possible still on a weird, strange tiebreakery thing at 4.
Right. That we're pretending doesn't exist. It's not a problem until it becomes a problem, so we're pretending like it's not a thing.
I'll keep playing because it's fun to play.
How many rounds are there?
7.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah. The product of 512 entrants, so...
So 3 losses means only weird tiebreaker saves you?
Yeah, so basically how it breaks down is that there's going to be exactly 116 that go 5-2, 6-0, and 7-0, and 116 will pair up with the 12 that auto-qualified to make an even 128. And If more people drop, then we might have to branch out into the 4-3s.
Yeah, that'll be where the issues come in if people suddenly are unavailable.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So,
Well, then I'll just keep trucking on.
all right. Glad to hear. Well, thank you guys so much for putting on a heck of a show. I had a blast commentating, especially with my good buddy Futon.
Yeah. Happy to assist you in putting on just the weirdest seed ever.
It was pretty weird. I always have fun racing this though, so I love playing this game.
Kingston Titan Myths is a rare one to see. So
yeah.
It's pretty cool to see that one. But yeah, let's take a quick look at the schedule, see what we got going on here. If you guys have any last words about this seed, or just about the tournament, or just in general, or about Garfield, whatever you want to say that.
Garfield sucks. I'm out.
Peace. Anything from you, Flav?
Pikachu for life. I guess.
You heard it here. You heard it here first. Coming up on Speed Gaming 5 in about an hour, a little bit over an hour. Actually, that's more like 2 hours. Hour and a half. There we go. We have more ALTTP randomizer, as well as you know, if you load up the schedule, it's literally nothing but link to the past randomizer. So just hit up Speed Gaming 1 through whatever we're at now, and you'll find something. And before we close out, just want to give a huge shout out, of course, to the Speed Gaming crew for putting on this race, to Notch 212 for tracking this lovely race for us, Tear, who helped us out earlier getting set up, and of course to my co-commentator Futon. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, it happens. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope see you in the next one. My name's been Willard J. Bradley, and will continue to be Willard J. Bradley in the future. I'll see you guys later.
Cut the stream! Cut the stream!
Cut it! Get it out!